Hello students, I'm Dr. Bindya Sharma and today we are going to study the different type of energy resources available to us in our environment. When we talk about the word environment, let us understand it first. The word environment, it means everything which surrounds us. It refers to the organic as well as the inorganic components. That means it refers to all the living organisms as well as the non-living things which are existing and by which we all are surrounded. And when we talk about the energy, environment, energy flows in the environment. And when we talk about energy, first of all, let us understand what is the meaning of energy. Energy is in simple words, we can say that energy is the capability of doing work. Whatever work we are doing, it requires energy. Whatever work means, like for us, as a human being, whenever we are doing some actions, we require energy. And from where do the human beings get energy? By eating food. In the similar manner, whatever activities are being performed, it requires electricity most of the time. Then, how do we derive electricity? Electricity is nothing but a form of energy. How do we derive that electricity? We derive electricity by the fossil fuels or by some other sources. So that means energy is very important in our environment, and energy cannot be created or can be destroyed, but yes, it can be changed from one form to other. And in due course of years, we are seeing that energy demands are increasing day by day. It is growing rapidly. So when we look at this graphical representation, we get to know when we are talking about mostly the developing countries, then for them, the energy demands are increasing because we have to perform the developmental activity. So we cannot deny that we are having the requirement of energy. But of course, whenever we are talking about the growing energy needs or the demands, how to fulfill them again is the major concern. So, how to fulfill the demands, growing demands of energy? Because for that, for any kind of a developmental activity, it requires energy. And how to derive that energy? There are two ways. One is by the burning of the fossil fuel, which is the conventional method, or we can have some or we can use some different type of alternative sources of energy. So, when we are talking about the use of some non conventional or some alternative sources of energy, that means we are talking about something which is related to the sustainability. So, sustainable development is a must thing which is required today. It is the need of the hour. So, first of all, we should understand what is the meaning of sustainable development or the term sustainability. So, whenever we are talking about the sustainable development, it means that we are meeting the needs of present without compromising the ability for our future generations to meet their own needs. That means we should not stop doing the developmental activities, but in turn, what we should concern is the way we are doing it, the way we are performing it. That means whatever developmental activities are being performed, they should be performed in such a manner that we should leave something for our future generation also. For example, we are consuming everything. We are consuming fossil fuels in order to meet the energy demands like generation of electricity very rapidly, which is not a good thing at all. That means we should conserve the fossil fuel for our future generations also, because the energy demand will increase day by day, year by year. So, how we should meet that energy needs, and the way to meet that energy needs is the sustainable development. So, sustainable development is a complete process. How we are doing the technological advancements, how we are doing the industrialization, how we are going for urbanization, whatever we are doing, whatever activities we are performing, the mostly the developmental countries or the nations, but they should be done in a sustainable manner. So sustainable future, we have to move towards it. And how? By doing the actions. So it says that there are majorly three pillars of sustainability. That means these three pillars should be considered. One, economic development. Second, social development. And the third and the most important is environmental development or protection, more specifically. So we can say that the sustainability depends on these three pillars. It lies or relies on three pillars, that is economic, social, and environmental. That means all three should be considered when we are talking about the sustainability or when we are talking about sustainable development. So United Nations has set an agenda in the year 2015 that by the end of 2030, we all should do, all the countries they should do such activities which will lead to the developmental goals. And there were 17 sustainable goals said as SDGs, which were set by the UN nations, which needs to be met by 2030. So now let us understand the 17 important sustainable goals which needs to be achieved. And every year, the UN Secretary Journals, they are presenting an annual SDG progress report also. So these are the following are the 17 UN developmental goals for 2030. It says, number one, no poverty. Number two, zero hunger. Number three, good health and well-being. Number four, equality, quality education for all. Number fifth, gender equality. Number six, clean water and sanitation. Number seven, affordable and clean energy. Number eight, decent work and economic growth. Number nine, industry, innovation and infrastructure. 10th, reduce inequalities. 11th, sustainable cities and communities. 12th, responsible consumption and production. Next, 13th is about climate change. 14th is life below water. 15th is life on land. 16th is peace, justice, and strong institutions. 17th is partnership for the goals. Now, let us understand these developmental goals set by UN one by one. No poverty. It means nobody should be poor. Poor does not mean that that is below poverty line. It means below poverty line. That means a minimum, whatever we need to give to a human being, whatever is required by the human being, that is proper sanitation facility, food and water, clothing. These are as well as the shed, that is a place to live. The basic requirements which is required by any human being should be given to all. It should be provided to all. It should not happen that anybody is suffering. So that means we have to eradicate poverty. All nations should do such kind of activities which will lead to eradication of the poverty. Zero hunger. It is somehow related to the no poverty. That means all the citizens, every human being, it should not sleep with hunger. It should not uh, have, it should not go to bed with empty stomach. That means zero hunger. Everyone should have sufficient food to eat. So, therefore, zero hunger is the second UN developmental goals. The third goal stands for good health and well-being. That means every human being should be having a facility for well-being. That means medical facilities should be provided to all human beings. Next goal is about quality education. What do we mean by quality education? That means, again, it is related to poverty. The reason is if one will be educated, then he can earn a living. So, quality education is again, it has to be provided to all human beings. That means a child, it should get a good education. For this, as all the government activities and schemes are being brought up, for free education, because not everyone would be able to afford the education. So minimum education should be provided to all human beings, whether they are rich or they are poor, or whether they are living in urban areas or they are living in rural areas. Then next goal is about gender equality. So the proportion between a balance, or balance should be maintained between male and female. So as we are listening to these kind of activities which are taking place just because of the female genocides, the reason is they don't want to take up the responsibility of a female child. So but this is again the cause of an imbalance which is created in the society. Again, it should not happen. There should be a balance between male and female gender ratio. So for that, many schemes again are launched by the various governments, like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao in India, and therefore, and the government is also taking the responsibility of their even marriages at times. So why these schemes are being brought up? These schemes are being brought up in order to maintain the gender equality. Coming to the sixth UN developmental goals for 2030 is about clean water and sanitation. Yes, this is again a very important goal which needs to be achieved, because if anybody, any human being, especially for the when talking about the rural areas, they are deprived of clean water and sanitation, it leads to many diseases. So therefore, this is the right of every human being to get to have clean water and sanitation. Next is about affordable and clean energy. So we are talking about energy. So when we are talking about energy, again, we are talking about sustainability also. So when we are deriving the energy from the non-conventional, that is renewable sources of energy like solar, wind, geothermal, etc., we are talking about the clean energy. So as well as the energy should be clean, that is, it should not leave any kind of pollution, it should not create any kind of different kind of pollutions to our environment, or harm, it should not cause any harm to our environment while we are producing the energy. As well as it should also be made affordable for every human being. The eighth UN development goals is about decent work and economic growth. That means everybody should be employed, if it is related to the employment. So the schemes of the government should be in such a manner that they should offer the employment. So if they will be employed, then no poverty would be there, and zero hunger can be reduced. So again, this is connected to the other UN developmental goals. Next is about ninth is about industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So, whenever we are talking about developmental activities, it refers to industries, setting up the industries, innovation, which needs to be done in science and technology, and the infrastructure, which needs to be taken care of. So, we have to go for industrialization, urbanization, and innovation also. So all these three activities go hand in hand. But again, they should be performed in a sustainable manner. The 10th goal is about reduced inequalities. There is a saying that rich should not become very rich and poor should not become more and more poorer, because this is going to create an imbalance in the society. So we have to reduce these inequalities in all terms. So, in order to reduce these inequalities, again, employment has to be generated, and more of the social work, society related work should be done by the well beings, that is, well of people. So, next goal is about sustainable cities and communities. Nowadays, urbanization is being done, and it is a requirement also. And whenever we are talking about these sustainable cities, that means smart cities. So whenever we are setting up any kind of a community, or we are manufacturing anything, any product, or setting up the factories, or setting up new cities, or we are expanding the cities, then we should take care that it should be done in a sustainable manner. So whatever activities needs to be performed for the setting up of the cities has to be done in a sustainable manner. 12th goals lies about responsible consumption and production. Yes, the production should be done in a responsible manner, as well as the consumption also should be done in a responsible manner. For example, in many cities of India, nowadays, plastic is totally banned, and the manufacturing and the use of plastic is also an offense nowadays, because we have to consider the environmental factor also. Amongst the three pillars of the sustainability, again, the environmental pillar is the very important one. So, we have to behave in a responsible manner. So it is the responsibility of all human beings to safeguard our environment. Then the third UN developmental goals is about climate action. We are seeing nowadays that climate change, global warming, we are hearing so many problems related to climate change and global warming. All these are again linked with the environment, because we have created such an harm to the environment that now we are getting the results back. It is bouncing back. The our Mother Earth is giving us the reaction of whatever actions we have performed against her. So we have to consider the climate action. That is, we have to perform certain steps. We have to take certain actions which will lead to a good environment, a healthy environment, and our negative impact on the climate or the environment, it should be done. So climate action means we have to consider our environment first. Then it related to the third one lies life below water. If we'll take care of the climate or the environment or the our entire surroundings, then definitely the life below water would be flourishing. So because we are harming the environment, so we are creating lots and lots of pollution. So therefore, the aquatic life is in danger. But life of human beings is not only important. With the life of human beings is also important the life of the animals, whether they are lying in the water or it is on the land. So we should consider the life below water, means we should consider the aquatic life. We should not pollute the water, and we should try to maintain a balance in the aquatic ecosystem. Life on land is the 15th developmental goal, again, which needs to be considered, because we are harming the environment. We are making land pollute day by day by the our activities like deforestation. So it needs to be considered that our activities should be performed in such a manner that it should also conserve the life on the land of the animals. The trees should be conserved, our forest should be conserved, the grasslands and mountain should be conserved. The 16th developmental goals is related to peace, justice, and strong institutions. Yes, there should be the law system should be the laws should be in such a way that it should be available to everybody. That means justice should be done for every human being. Justice should be imparted for all human beings. It should be very impartial and irrespective of the caste, creed, economic background. So our institution should be made very strong in that way. The last goal is again an important goals, that means partnership for the goals. To achieve the UN goals, there should be a partnership between the various nations of the world. Without the partnership, without coming together, we cannot achieve the goals set for 2030. So These are the 17 goals which are set by the UN, and they needs to be achieved by 2030. So I hope this is all the 17 goals are clear now. And if we are going to achieve the goals set by the UN, so definitely we are going to adopt the low carbon lifestyle. We should reduce our carbon footprint. So how to reduce the carbon footprint? By performing some of the activities like day to day, in our day to day life also. For example, in order to reduce our dependency on the fossil fuel, in order to reduce our dependency on coal, petroleum, and gas. So we can use this carpool option, and we can use these disposables made out of paper, as well as we can go for renewable sources of energy. We can switch off the lights whenever they are not in use. So we can try to minimize the use of plastics. So in this manner, definitely we can opt for a low carbon lifestyle. So student, I hope you have understood the topic. That's all for today. Thank you.